All right. So I wanted to do a final kind of recap on the process of actually making my sewing table from scratch, from the get-go, design up. This was not easy by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not a carpenter. I don't do this for a living. I'm someone who sews. I sew quilts, I sew clothes, I sew little projects, I sew a shirt for the Pooh Bear stuffy that my mother-in-law needed, and I do sewing projects, not carpentry projects, so I did a lot of learning. I'm really grateful that I could borrow my dad's miter saw and sander, otherwise this would have taken a lot longer than it did. All told, this has taken a week, and I'm exhausted. I stayed in budget, though. I spent less than $300 on all of the supplies and electricity, not counting time, because this was my vacation. This was my Thanksgiving break from school, so I did it. I didn't do it perfectly. I learned a lot. I didn't know about sinking screws ahead of time, but it works. My sewing table works, and it's functional, and it's practical for my space. And honestly, I think the worst thing to come out of this is the fact that now I don't want to buy any of my furniture. I just want to make it myself, because it'll be cheaper, and it'll be a lot more sweat. Hopefully no blood. There was no blood spilt for the sewing machine table. And there's my project bucket, and here's my lovely machine. This was a good learning experience. I don't know if I would recommend this experience, but I learned a lot. And I think if you want to make a piece of furniture for yourself to fit your space exactly, go for it. You can do it. I'm 23, that you can do this. You can do this too. It doesn't matter if you've never held a hammer. I didn't use any hammers for this project. Just a screwdriver. And a lot of screws and drill bits. And a miter saw. And so be safe with the tools you're using. Look up a lot of videos. Get someone to help you. There were a lot of kind employees at various stores that helped me a lot. And I would recommend using them. Use the resources at your disposal. Talk to your librarians. There are a lot of makerspaces in local libraries. There are a lot of makerspaces in big cities if you have access to those. I highly recommend it. So, was this a good experience? Yeah, I think so. And we'll see how my sewing machine table holds up. My problem, my kitty, she doesn't mess with this stuff anymore. And she's no longer in danger of a 20-pound sewing machine falling on her when a table tips over. So, mission accomplished. I would change a couple things. I wouldn't do this again the same way, if that makes sense. I wouldn't do the pillars the same way. I probably wouldn't do the hinges the same way. But we live, we learn, we grow, and we become better people, more knowledgeable people with more experience. And experience is sometimes the only way to learn. So, thanks for coming along with me on this journey to make my own sewing machine table.